we were also wrong. Anyone who is destroying the culture, we had to send him home to go through hell and heaven.
If the system comes, it would replace his job.
We didn't have enough cash flows to sustain.
We were in the truck preparing crepes and all.
You make sure that you invest. Obviously, you have to use Sri Lankans. This has to happen.
Yeah.
We're giving you a week. What happens if they don't follow them?
You will not get acceptance.
Why there should be change and why they should accept change. Most of the staff will have that same approach. There was this person who used to be a PN way back in time at our stores.
The first initial stores.
Yeah, the initial store. And every time we came up with a new strategy to enhance the whole store's operations, this person would rally up with the other staff and brainwash them not to accept the change management. So we had to go through hell and heaven in educating that person. Even after we educated that person, I think things went the other way. And at that time, we were focusing mostly on building that fine product, and we were mostly invested in operations. So for us to come and keep explaining the whole story to the employees and telling them why there should be change and why they should accept change was really a hindrance to plug out from the whole operational aspect and go there and invest time there. So I think we took a hard call. We gave that employee the opportunity more than 10-15 times, but he was not ready to accept, and we had to send him home.
Can I add something there?
And what was your experience?
So what happened was this was initially during the food truck days, right? So at that time we were frontliners. We were in the truck preparing crepes and all. So this particular guy, we took him to arrange our stores, to get the dispatches done and to get the purchasing done. That was our initial stages of business, I would say. At that time, we also didn't choose the right person with the right intellect, and also there were budget constraints to get the right person again. So I would say, yes, the person was not in the capacity to take up that role, which is why he always had a negative vibe and he never accepted change. He always wanted to stand up against systems because he was not well aware of systems. So which made him afraid that if the system comes, it would replace his job. But it was not the case. It was about efficiency. So I think that was the whole plot twist there.
Yeah, and the reason for us to hire people in that caliber, because end of the day, salary was one of the highest cost component for us when it came to hiring people, because it was all bootstrapped.
Correct.
And for us, it was like all just in time. Even our inventory was just in time because we didn't have enough cash flows to sustain. So what we did was we kept hiring staff at affordable rates, and we had to bring in people who weren't even ready to understand what systems and processes were. So,
Correct.
So that was something we already knew when we were bringing them in. But if you're building something, make sure anyone who is destroying the culture that you're going to start seeding. And before the harvest, if they're trying to, not let that culture of resilience or enhancement, continuous development in business and multiple iterations, if that sort of a culture is being diminished and if they are not letting you grow and evolve, then you have to make a call when you're building a business. Because once that gets into the system, that means most of the staff will have that same approach. So whenever you give them downloads of knowledge, they will never be able to, grasp it, because they are wired in a way to listen to people and stand against the whole system. So if you are starting up and if you're like 6 to 8 months down the line and you're building a team, you make sure that you invest on the right people. Yes, you'll have cost constraints and all that, but make sure even if you find people under that salary belt, educate them the importance of change management, how you evolve from nothing to something, and then when you become that something, things won't be like in the past. So I think a lot of communication is important, because the lesser you communicate in a way that they don't understand, that's also going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So where they come from, I mean the outlet level or stores level individuals, where they come from is obviously they'll have less education and less exposure to corporate or a business that's inspired by international brands and when you set your whole expectation in a way that you want to build a quality Sri Lankan brand, obviously you have to use Sri Lankans. So the masses come from all across the outskirts of the country, so you can't expect them to get the whole story in the first go. So make sure that you break your comms down in a digestible way for them to understand, because for us also, we thought in the first go people should grasp it the way we work, but we were also wrong, because we were upfront. Hey, this has to happen.
Yeah.
We're giving you a week. These are the SOPs. These are the new upgrades. Be ready. Change yourselves. But little did we know that it came in a way that they weren't ready, because they also had their exposure. So afterwards we understood how we could groom them when they come. So we gave them inductions, we gave them SOP trainings, we gave them more importance to the things that they are going to do, so then they really understand why SOPs are there, why systems are in place, and what happens if they don't follow them. So ever since then, I think things have been more swifter and smoother, but there are challenges obviously when you bring in new updates to SOPs and systems. So yeah, Samad.
No, so the best thing to do is that you have your communications bottom up, like, get them involved in whatever the changes we are planning to do, make them understand what are the pros and cons. And it shouldn't be like putting it from the top, just, hey, you do this. It should be like from the bottom, you should come sit with them, make them understand what's going to happen next, and why is this required, and how much of a time you're going to save, how is it going to make their life easy. So that's where they also get interested in understanding what's the change for, not putting it from the top saying that, hey, do this, do that. So when you go with that kind of a voice, you will not get acceptance. There will be a lot of resistance. So what we learned down the way is that you should get their opinions also, but also to a certain extent. Sometimes they might not have the knowledge to understand what's going to happen next. So then we'll have to educate them and make them understand about it.
Yeah, so crazy times. We were preparing food, and we were also enhancing people and enhancing systems and processes. So that's key takeaway from today's topic. Follow my YouTube channel. Until then, adios.
Same.